I do want to represent employers and give you a perspective. So if you look at the partnership that exists in terms of graduate employability, obviously, students themselves, universities, governments, both very well represented here, and employers. And I think that partnership has certainly improved over the last 30 years from when I first came out of university, and is so much stronger today. I can't speak with credibility about the strength of it from the educator's perspective, from the government perspective, maybe a little bit from a student perspective, but from an employer perspective, the effort that we put into attracting, developing students today is so significantly different to what we did 30 years ago. In the period of 4 months after graduation, the percentage of graduates who did not have a full-time job has actually been sitting around at 24%. In 2013 went up to 29%. So 30% of the people who are coming out of universities are not getting a full-time job. And that's not a full-time job necessarily in the profession they want, that's just a full-time job. So there's a challenge here for us, for all the stakeholders that exist in the graduate employability perspective. People ask, grads quite often ask me, what do I look for when we're recruiting graduates? And I only look for two things. I look for somebody who can think, and I look for somebody who's got what I call the right attitude. Now, in different organisations, that means different things. But primarily to us, it's the preparedness to challenge, to challenge the status quo, to push back, to not accept things for what they might obviously be seen as when you first look at them. So it's people who are, as I say, can think through an issue, but then also who are able to articulate that, to not take no for an answer sometimes. And so I think that positive attitude, that can do, we beat it out of people so easily in the corporate world. And so we're actually keen to try and have a lot more of that in our organisation. There's an article in The Economist at the start of this year, I think it was the 18th of January edition of The Economist, if anyone wants to go and have a look at it, and it talked about what are the jobs of the future going to be like. What I get challenged by is, if you think about the perspective of graduate employability, there's industries out there that are not going to exist in 5 or 10 years' time, and we could be developing people who are going to work in those industries. Taxi drivers are gone. The only thing that's stopping driverless taxis today, think about it, you go to the airport, you walk out, the taxi's sitting there, you get in, you program into the GPS that you want to go to Lakeside Drive at Varsity Lakes. The car drives you there, you take your credit card out, you tap it, you get out. We can do all that. The only thing we can't do with the car is how we're going to fill it up. This stuff is changing the way we need to think about the education, the leadership and the development of people. So my top 5 tips for people when they're thinking about graduating and what to do. Yeah, these all make sense, 1 to 5. I want to talk about the last one. McKinsey's have a great expression that I think really sums up what a lot of organisations are looking for in all of their people. If you visualise a capital T, right, so the letter T as a capital, so think about the vertical axis. The vertical on that is your domain expertise. You've got depth of experience in your field, and this applies to you as well. But the horizontal on that capital T is what makes a great leader. And it's actually somebody who is incurably curious, somebody who knows a little bit about a lot, because they're the people that can connect with people. People who are domain experts, that vertical, if they meet somebody who's exactly interested in what they do, they'd have a great time. But if you're an aeronautical engineer and you meet somebody who's a Pilates teacher, you've probably got nothing to talk to them about. So great leaders have that horizontal. They know a little bit about a lot. We don't expect people to come to us as a graduating student or a postgrad student to have that horizontal, but that's the thing. I look for people who are curious about the world and how it works.